I looked down in my hallway at 4 pairs of shoes lined up, and I realised the moment had passed and I hadn't captured it. And it made me feel really, really sad. And I just don't want that for you in your business. Welcome to What's That Got to Do with Marketing, where we start with a story you did not see coming. It might be fun, could be funny, or even a little bit frantic. But in the end, it will all make sense, leaving you with a takeaway, a to-do, or a transformational way forward. And I'm your host, Victoria. And you, my friend, are here for unlikely lessons and unforgettable marketing advice, just for small B2B expert-led business owners. Let's get into it. This episode is called Capture the Moment Marketing. And this is for all of you if you've always been meaning to get round to something, but you never do. For some reason, you hold yourself back. Now, about 10 years ago, I looked down at 4 pairs of shoes in my hallway. 1 pair belonged to Mr. V, a larger size. 1 pair belonged to me, a UK size 6. And there were these 2 gorgeous little pairs of shoes. God knows what size they were now, but they were tiny, belonging to my twin 3-year-old boys. And I thought, do you know what? I will grab my camera at some point and I'll take a picture of that. Because that's just magical. That young age and just seeing them all lined up there. And I did that several times throughout their younger years. I'd see them chatting together, just the 2 little twins. I'd see them playing around in their cots. And I think, I must get a picture of that. I must get a bit of video footage seeing that relationship between the 2 of them. Now, one of mine, I've mentioned it before, he's football crazy. And he's been playing FIFA on his PlayStation for quite some time. And I'd hear him, his little voice, doing the commentary like they do on Match of the Day. And I'd hear him saying, and he's running down the wing. And you'd hear this, I don't know how to do that, but he would do all of this amazing commentary. And I thought I'll get a little recording of that because that noise to me is just magical as a parent. And every time I went to record it, he'd see me doing it and say, Mummy, don't record me. So I haven't done it. I didn't do it. And I'd see them climbing all over my mum and dad and the fun that they had with their grandparents. And again, I'll get some video footage of that. I'll take some photographs of that. And I did to an extent. And then the special times with myself, Mr. V, and just seeing them cuddling up to us with each other. That doesn't happen anymore. They're 13. They've got no interest in that whatsoever. And just those magical moments. And I thought, I'll get some more video footage of that. I'll get some more pictures of that. Now, this week, I looked down in my hallway at 4 pairs of shoes lined up. Only it looked different. There was still Mr. V's, still my size 6s. But then it was 2 larger pair of shoes, almost the same size of mine. And I thought, the moment's gone and I didn't capture it. And that made me feel really, really sad. And I don't want that for you in your business. So today's episode is all about making sure that you capture the moment in your business. Because if you think about it, this has got an awful lot to do with marketing because marketing is made up of moments. Everything you do is not one great big long story. It's individual moments that really count towards what your clients experience, what everyone sees about you, how you build your brand, how you bring clients in the door. It's all about those moments. So I'm going to take you through a number of different things that you can do to help build those moments and not let them pass you by. Because if you do, you're throwing away opportunity, just like I did by not capturing those moments that meant a lot to me. Because life gets in the way. There's always the washing up to do. There's always clothes to put on. There's work to do. Everything just stops you from moving forward and doing what you really want to do. So we really need to make sure that we're making time to capture the moments, to not let life pass us by, to not let the opportunity of getting new clients just pass us by. So I'm going to take you through a whole bunch of different things that you can do to make sure You seize the moment, seize the opportunity. So I'm going to start off by talking about this one thing that often holds us back, and that is perfection. So my first message to you today is it does not have to be perfect. It just has to be done. Okay? Let me say that again. Listen to this. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be done. Because let's face it, does perfection actually even exist? What we think is perfect is certainly not perfect when it comes to the eyes of our potential customers. So bear that in mind when you're holding yourself back thinking it's not ready to be released yet. That email's not perfect. That web page is not perfect. That social media post, is it good enough? Get it out there. Perfection, or what you believe to be perfection, can come later. Now, what I always find myself is what I believe to be perfect, I'll put it out there and I'll find that with the feedback that comes, with the commentary that comes from, for example, posts, with the results that come from email marketing, I always find there's things to change. There's ways to improve. So while we're waiting for perfection, we're letting the moment pass us by. We're letting opportunity pass us by to learn. Because if it's not perfect, you'll learn from it. And if it is great, you'll get results from it. So that's my first message is please don't wait. Get it out there. Okay. So number 2, we're now going to talk about storytelling. We're going to talk about you're not just running a business, you're actually consistently telling stories. And think of every day as a new opportunity to tell your story. Because it doesn't have to be this massively curated thing. That's great for campaign planning. That's great for all of your kind of really planned in stuff. But actually, when we're thinking about creating stories in our business, it's those little moments once again. It's that funny conversation perhaps you had with a colleague. It's, for example, what some of my team have laughed about when I've brought in for my lunch 2 eggs and a courgette and I've placed them on the table. And the girls have commented that actually it looks more like it belongs between a man's legs than it does on my desk or, as my lunch. It's those little things. Talk about this behind the scenes stuff. It's fun. It could be just a moment or a thought that pops into your head that you can share. And that's probably going to be really, really helpful to your audience. So don't lose those moments. Capture them, no matter how small they are. What I like to do is just keep a notebook at the side of my desk. So when things pop into my head, I write them down. And actually, what I found is when I'm going through coaching calls with my clients, having that pad of paper there to write things down on really, really helps because I'm always giving my clients gold, absolute gold. And it's things that change their life. So what I can do afterwards is think, what did I just deliver to them that's really helped them? And when I do that, I can just make a note of it, jot it down, and that is a story, a moment that I can talk about. Because if it's helped a client, it's going to help people in my marketing as well. And then what are they going to think of me? That person knows what she's talking about. She's helped me. She's moved me forward. And imagine then what it's like when they come and they pay for the services. Even better. So don't let those moments go. Capture them. Use them in your content. Use them in your marketing materials. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is planning. So you meant to do it, you didn't. That's why planning is important. Now, whilst there's those little bits and pieces that I've just spoken about that you can get out there, throw them out the door, tell the story. It's always good to have, that whole behind the scenes thing. There is sometimes the need for planning, especially when it comes to your bigger campaigns, because they need proper delivery. You can't just throw them out into your audience and expect them to fly. And if you don't plan, what happens is the kind of thing where you go, I sent one email, I didn't get any response to it, I didn't follow up. When actually what you should be doing in your planning is making sure that there's not just one email, there's a follow-up, there's another follow-up, there's a sales call, and so on. Everything has to work in sequences. And when you don't plan, what happens is you forget to do some of that activity. And they are the activities that ultimately drive sales, drive business, get you those opportunities in the door. So if you are finding that you're not following up, you're not doing all the things that you should be doing, then planning is an absolute must. And I know it can be a bit of a ball ache. I get that. But it's just spending that 60 minutes, 90 minutes, and it will save you hours and hours of time. And I tell you what, hours and hours and hours of, stress-free moments too, because you know it's in hand. You don't have to think about it anymore. You're just following the plan. So planning helps to make the moment special as well. So I want you to really think about that too. So the next point I want to come on to, my fourth point here, is really also treating your business like a bit of a memory box, because it's not just about what's coming up, what you're doing next. You have to think about what you've already delivered, what you've already done, the great things that have gone by. Perhaps it's results you've got for clients. Perhaps it's case studies and testimonials that you've got. Perhaps it's milestones that you've had in your business. They're all things to pull out the bag. They tell your story. They build your brand. They show the journey that you've been on, why you're the right person for people to come to. So the memories, the moments of the past, they're also really important in your marketing. So make sure you don't lose any of them. Now, there's another thing that I want you to think about. So we've talked about planning. We've talked a little bit about the past. We've talked a little bit about, making sure that you're allowing time for this stuff, making sure that you're capturing the stories. But the other thing is, if there is a moment in time where you think about something, an idea strikes, do it. Get going. Just take action. Because it doesn't mean that you actually have to start work on it now. I want you to think about, if you do get an idea, think about whether or not it's the best idea to move forward with. Think about whether or not it's something that you need to park for a minute, but consider it. Don't just run after it and start implementing. Sit and consider it, because it might be a wonderful thing for you to move forward with. It might be something that you need to park, but every idea is just worth a consideration. So I like to think of it like this. I often use the acronym PLAN, PLAN. So if you think about the P, that's prioritizing. So if you get an idea strikes and you think, is this something I should run with or not? I had one just this week, and let me tell you, I got very excited and I had to sit down and go, right, is this really aligned to where my business is heading? So I thought, let's think about the priority of this. Is it a priority? So I looked at it against my strategy. I looked at that against where my business is heading, my current products and services that I have for my clients. And then I thought, do you know what? It actually is. This is something that I'm going to start doing. So prioritizing is thinking about, this is the stuff I'm going to do. If you choose to prioritize it, you're choosing to do it. And then you can do the appropriate follow-up. Secondly, the L of plan is let go. If it's not something that's right for you, let it go. You've got to ditch it. Get rid of it. Because some of those things we can end up going, do you know what a great idea, let's go for it. And you think without the kind of deep thought, you think, yeah, this is great. This is going to be the silver bullet that finally gets me where I want to go. And it's not. So if it's not a great idea, it's not aligned, let it go. And the A of plan is assign it. If it's something that you want done, but you don't want to do it yourself, assign it to someone else to do if it is a priority. So if you've got somebody to delegate to, brilliant. That's what you need to do with it. And lastly, the N of plan is not now. So you might want to do it at some point. It might be really aligned to where you're heading in your future direction, but it's a not now situation. So if that's the case, then you've got to get rid of it. Park it, put it to the side. So that's my acronym for plan. Now, we've been through a lot there, and I want you to think about what is most meaningful for you today. Thinking about that whole story, about not letting those moments pass you by, making sure you're grabbing every single opportunity that you can that is aligned to the direction of your business. So are you going to take some action from this? You can, for example, think about those special moments in your business. Start telling your story. It builds your brand. Are you going to start planning more to make sure you don't miss important steps in your marketing journey that will move you forward? But just don't let opportunities pass you by. That is my main message from today. As I say, marketing is made of moments and you've got to capture them. So I'm going to round up with giving you a 15-minute marketing moment action plan. If you choose nothing else, this is the one thing that you can do, and you can do this on repeat because it will really, really help you. So the first thing is pick one thing or story that has happened to you this week. Something real, a little bit like the moment I've had this week of looking down and seeing those shoes on the floor, on the ground, all lined up. That's made me think. Secondly, voice note it or write it down, capture it in some way. And once you've done that, think, well, what is the lesson that I can take from this? What is the lesson that I could share from this to give value to my prospects, to my clients? And once you've done that and you've thought about the link of how that actually stacks up, the fourth thing I want you to do is turn it into a post, an email, or a method of communication that you can share with your audience. And last but not least, schedule it to go out. Get it done. Get it done. Get it off your plate. Tick in the box. How good does that feel when you finally get something done that you've been wanting to do? That is capturing the moment. That's taking action and getting it out there. As always with the podcast, we're not leaving you to your own devices. I want to help you get this stuff right. So if you head over to allstarmarketingclub.com/resources, I've got a great little giveaway for you. It's called my Marketing Moments Map. And that's going to make sure that you capture all this great stuff. You don't let opportunities pass you by and you seize the moment.